finding things that I didn't know was online. Here in Mexico, walking down the street in Albany. Never in my mind's epiphany did I see your face. Wow, this is kind of cool. Jenna and the Charmers. Hey, beautiful. You beautiful. This is my band, Jenna and the Charmers. I miss them. Hi, guys. Hey, Lynette. I think someone takes a solo. Let's see. Oh, Steve Bissinger took a solo. He's great. I wrote this song with John Bendick and Ray Oviedo. And you know Ray. Every time I'd walk in after that, he's like, I found it. Anyway, kind of cool to find something on YouTube that you didn't know was there. Hi everybody. Happy 11/11. There are 11. Woo-hoo-hoo. Bye. So I have a new candle. I'm going to light that. It's a good one. It's grapefruit. You know, I find things. I'm so techie. Yeah, yeah. I love you, Merry Mexico. I want to come see you. I miss Mexico. Mama Grace in the house. Mama Grace in the house. Mama Grace in the house. And Lil's on vacation. Post a link to the video after. I will. Here, I'll tell you what. I will send the link to you, Matt, and if you don't mind posting it, I would love for you to do that. So welcome to 11/11. If it's your first time here, hi. If it's your many other times here, thank you. I'm sending you the link right now. Did you hear what someone said, Matt? Someone said, I'm so techie. Merry Mexico goes, you're so techie. Mwah. Okay. I think I sent it to you about 3 times. So anyway, the other thing I want to, let's see, tonight, I'm just going to go over the weekend really quick. Tonight, friend of mine that I met him through someone that met him through someone else, was getting his doctorate at Northwestern, I think. He'll correct me. Helped in a project that I was invited, I think it was 10 years ago, to perform with the symphony, the Southwest Michigan Symphony Orchestra. And I got to perform songs that I wrote with a 75-piece orchestra. And there's a funny story that happened during that rehearsal that I'm happy to share. But I just looked at something and thought of something else. Hi, something shiny. Patrick Liddell, Dr. Patrick Liddell is my guest tonight. And tomorrow night is our dear girlfriend, Melanie DeMore, will be here. And then Don Braden, who's a saxophonist friend of mine from the East Coast. So I'll be doing West Coast, East Coast for the weekend. And then Monday night's meditation. And I'm excited. It's Pride weekend, and I should have my earrings on, shouldn't I? Then I'd have to leave the room. I'm not going to leave. But, so, oh, good. Thanks, Matt. Thank you. Just to remind you that I do this all from my heart and for volunteering, and if you feel like kicking in a few dollars to support 1111 with Jenna, you can do it through PayPal, Venmo, or Patreon if you want to continue a monthly donation. And I wonder if can I post? Oh, I never thought of that. I'll post the links to do those things. I think I can. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I can. But they're on other. Yeah, maybe I can. I'm being super techie right now. Wait, that's not going to do anything for me. Wasn't last night cool? Were you guys here last night? If you weren't here last night and you want to see some talent, check out Corona Roki International Limited last night. So cool. So cool. I'm talking to myself right now. It's funny. Cool. So cool. I'm talking to myself. And I just whistled again, and it's doing something. Anyway, last night was the bomb shit. I don't even know how to top that. Well, I guess if Melanie, you came on, and Susan came back and did some more. Last night I watched it today. Because, I'm so techie with, I'm holding a microphone. If I were super techie, I'd have another tripod. I wonder if I could use my candle. No, I'm not. I'm going to use a real tripod. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. You guys can hear everything okay? And you'll be able to hear Patrick. Dr. Patrick. Yes, last night was super awesome. And tonight is going to be super awesome. And tomorrow night, every night, 11:11 a.m. and 11:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 days, 14 times a week. Walking down the street in Albany. Hey, Matt. Let me see did I miss anybody? Matt Gorbett. Every time I see your daughter now, I think of your daughter, I think of that snake. What's the snake's name? Not Lemonade. What? I forget. Hi, Jay. Got some Texans here, and some Georgians here, and some Los Angeles people here. Bill, hi Bill. Boston. We're coast to coast, everybody. We are coast to coast. And we have Colorado, and Melanie, Demore is here. Here, Melanie, can I bring you on for just 1 minute? Just for a minute? Let's see. Adding, and she might say no, which, because she's going to be here tomorrow night, so I just want to, like, you know, introduce you guys to Melanie if she decides she's just be like, oh man, I gotta get online right now. It's all chill in my house and stuff. We're waiting. She might be busy, or she might have walked away. Did you guys, so who's in St. Joseph, Michigan? Who's here? There was the coolest storm tonight. Oh my goodness. Jelly Bean, right? Fresno. Oh, you're home. Oh, okay. Well, Melanie, she's busy. Busy. She's a busy lady, but she'll be here tomorrow night. No answer. Okay. All good. Okay, go away, live guest. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Patrick Liddell. I'm FaceTiming because I'm so techie. I did figure out something on my mom's phone. This is kind of techie in a old school way. Wasn't that cool? I was just sitting there. Hi, Michael Dorf. Oh, Michael Dorf. Would you consider being on my show sometime? This happens every day and every night, 11:11 a.m. and 11:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would be honored to have you here. Michael Dorf was one of the earliest, had one of the hippest clubs in New York, the Knitting Factory. Anyone ever went to the Knitting Factory? And then it went to LA and he did all this other cool stuff. But I used to play, I'm on his label, the Knitting Factory label, with the band that I used to be in, and lots of friends that have played at the Knitting Factory through the years. And now he's the person, the brains, and what do I say? He started city wineries, all the city wineries. If any of you have been to a city winery, the guy that created it is on my show right now. Well, he's watching, or he's streamed through. So Michael Dorf, inviting you to check out the show sometime. And my sister Lisa is here. Lisa Mammina. Lisa Mammina. Lisa, Mom, Lisa, she's here. Okay. This is how we roll. Stuff gets shiny, and then Michael Dorf, he's shiny. Lisa's shiny. But Patrick, he's sitting there going, I'm waiting. Hey, Al. Hey, Patrick.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to turn you around now. Oh, yeah, I like your hat. He's so cool. This guy is so cool. Dr. Patrick Liddell, ladies and gentlemen. So I have to ask you a quick question before we get serious about music. The photo, you don't really see me, I know.
Yeah, there's not much to see. Oh, I can kind of see you. You put a mirror up or something. I can kind of see.
I did put a mirror up, but my sister advised me to put it up a different way, and I couldn't because it fell, and then I broke it. So there's a different mirror there. The photo of you that I posted today is of you in like a chick outfit.
Wow, that is an old Facebook photo. That's from the beginnings of Facebook. That's like 2005 or something. I worked at a photo lab, and they had chicks for like families to come in and take pictures with the chicks for Easter. It was like an Easter promotion. Friend had a chicken outfit, and that's just kind of what happened one day. Yeah, chickens and chicks. Yeah.
Why did your friend have a chick outfit? Just curious.
Wow, I don't even remember the reason. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I had multiple friends that had chicken outfits. I'm just, I have a lot of very interesting, very eclectic friends. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
My friend Robin Lewis, who's a 7-string guitarist, and myself, who maybe was at that gig when you saw us in Oakland, he and I used to play at a place called Chicken in the East Bay, and there was a guy that would greet you at the door in a chicken outfit. So when I saw your chicken outfit, I was like, I wonder if Patrick worked at Chicken. I doubt a doctor of music, but
I can't. That must not still be there because I wouldn't know if that
yeah, it was like in San Leandro.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Chicken.
Wow.
So you're in the, go ahead. You live in the Oakland Hills.
I do indeed. I live right by the Oakland Zoo.
Fine.
Do love it here. I love Oakland. Very Oakland proud.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's happening in the Bay Area, and
The town.
Oakland.
The town. Was there really a tiger that was? Did you hear about that?
No, that was we got the notification, but it was disproven. Like a half hour later, they said that was
they
erroneous.
Miscounted. Oops, sorry, we didn't read it. There was a warning. I saw the warning on Facebook.
I saw a tiger roaming down my street. That would be so badass.
Right, there was like this warning. Oakland Zoo reports that a tiger is missing from the cage, from the zoo. And then people are like, oh, no, there's a tiger. And then I thought, I'm going to just watch this unfold. And then they came back and they said that maybe they had miscounted. But I wasn't for sure if they miscounted or they were saying they miscounted.
It's the type of thing you would double check a few times before letting people know.
You would think. You would think. So, Doctor of Music.
Yeah, that's right. You were Northwestern is right. I was at Northwestern, and I have a doctorate in composition. Which now at my job, I'm a school teacher. I'm a band teacher at a middle and high school in Dublin, California. I use like 1% of my degree in what I do. I have learned a lot about education now. I consider myself a pretty good teacher, but only my students call me Dr. Liddell. So please, just Patrick. It sounds weird when you say it.
I kind of like the doctor part. Dr. Liddell, paging Dr. Liddell, paging.
Well, my dad was a doctorate too, so when I hear Dr. Liddell, I just, I assume it's for some old man.
Got it. Is your family still in Chicago?
No, my family never was. I actually grew up in Peoria, Illinois.
Oh.
And family is not still there. They now live in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. So I might go back.
What's the name of the Italian restaurant in Peoria?
Say that again, sorry?
There's an Italian restaurant in Peoria.
Oh, hell yeah, Avanti's. You're thinking of Avanti's.
They have good bread.
Hell yeah, famous for their bread. I actually do occasionally miss their bread.
Yeah.
Yes. I haven't even thought about it in...
What was it called? Vivanti's?
What's that?
Vivanti's?
Avanti's.
Avanti's.
A-V-A-N-T-I-S.
Avanti's. Yeah, I had a roommate in college, and we decided one day to drive to Colorado to go skiing, and we picked up a friend of hers in, like, we left on Thursday and we were coming back Monday, something crazy like that, in Michigan. We're like, yeah, let's drive to Colorado, we'll go skiing for an hour and a half. And we went to Peoria and had Avanti's bread.
Yep.
So you grew up in Peoria. So then did you know, were you a student of Dan Fogelberg's father?
Wow, no. In fact, I kind of lived a little bit in Dan Fogelberg's footprint or shadow because I went to Richwoods. Or I didn't go to Richwoods, actually. I went to Peoria Central, but Richwoods was like the music school. So I spent a lot of time there. And so I know a lot about Dan Fogelberg, but I never, his entire family had either moved away by the time I grew up there. So he had a legacy, but there was no one actually there.
His mom was there, I think.
Oh, okay. Perhaps. I actually know very little about it, but except that he was a very major character from Peoria.
And his father was a music teacher.
That's right, yeah, at Richwoods High School. That's right, and that's why their music program was still killing even in 1994 or whenever I was in high school, because it still had a legacy from when he had taught it.
And that's the reason he wrote that song. The leader of the band has died and his eyes are growing old. Can I tell you my Dan Fogelberg story? So I opened for him with Andre Bush, my guitarist at the time. It was at the Fox Theater in Redwood City.
Oh, okay.
And Dan Fogelberg was one of my teenage, like, not, I wouldn't say, he was kind of cute, but yeah, he was cute. Yeah, I thought he was hot. But I loved his music, and I loved singing his music, and I was so excited that I was getting to open for Dan Fogelberg. So we get to the venue, and we have our backstage area, and then we get on stage and do the sound check, and then they did their sound check, and he didn't come in for the sound check. He had a ghost singer doing his sound.
Must be nice. Wow.
Right. And I have a friend that was the singer for Paul Simon for many years.
Just like the tester?
Yeah.
Nice work, you can get it.
My friend
awesome. And you
Steve,
can hang out all the time.
Steve Conti. You guys, I got to get Steve Conti on the show. See, now I'm always sitting there going, who am I going to ask? Who am I going to ask? And then I'm talking to someone on the phone. I'm like, you got to be on my show tomorrow night. Okay. This is how we got the doctor on. So anyway, we're on doing our sound check, and then we go back to the backstage, and I'm like, I can't wait. I'm going to meet Dan Fogelberg. And we go on to do our set and get a great response. And then we get off the stage, and his manager person came up and said, thank you. That was really great. Oh, cool. Thanks a lot. I'm going to go. I was going to go see if I had sold any CDs. But as I was walking out, he goes, oh, you need to pack up your stuff. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, you guys need to clear out from the backstage. And I was like, why? And he goes, because Mr. Fogelberg doesn't like to have the opening act. He likes a backstage. He likes to have the whole backstage for himself.
Interesting. That was in his writer or something?
Yes.
Presumably.
I was heartbroken.
I can only imagine.
I had to go grab all my stuff. And so I grabbed all my stuff, and I went out, and I was selling CDs, and I went up to his manager, and I said, could you please give Mr. Fogelberg my CD? And he's like, sure, no problem. Yeah, right. Sure, no problem. And apparently he gave it to him because about a year later, I got a letter saying how much they loved the CD and went through each song and wrote this beautiful letter, and it was from his mom.
What? Wow.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I knew she lived in Peoria at the time.
Wow. What? I mean, I'm flabbergasted on multiple levels about that story.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, because the way the setup is that Dan Fogelberg's a jerk. He like doesn't care all about musicians. He only is interested about himself backstage. And then and it sounds like his manager's going to throw away your CD for him, But then not only does the manager deliver it, but then Dan Fogelberg delivers it to his mom. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I still have the letter.
Oh, wow.
Yep. I still have the letter. So can we, so the reason we met is, would you like to tell people why? Because this is another talent that you have.
Well, you told it pretty well. We met because the story way I remember it is that Northwestern you contacted Northwestern, just asked like them to find somebody. I seem to remember it just being like their talent agency contacting me about doing arranging, but maybe it was an acquaintance we had. I don't remember now, but and you had given me those 3 pieces, and they turned out. I remember that the pieces they did turn out really good. I mean, not the arrangements themselves, but the pieces were really nice. It was just a really fun experience for me. And then I got to come up and hear it performed with that orchestra that also kicked a lot of butt. Like I'm having a new appreciation for Midwestern orchestras, by the way. Like I love California's great, but man, Midwestern orchestras kick some butts. Like they don't. and St. Joe Orchestra, like hopefully someone there can send my thumbs up. Like I have even more appreciation now than I did then for them, because yeah, great work. It was a really fun experience all around. And St. Joe also, this is my first time in that town. Very beautiful place.
And then we went and had beers. We went down to the livery in Benton Harbor.
Where did we go? I remember
to the livery.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Where I have a gig next month. I think I'm not sure. We'll see.
Yeah.
So the funny thing happened that night at the rehearsal. I think you came to the rehearsal.
I don't remember anything about the rehearsal, so any story you would tell would be new for me too.
Well, it was because it's a union. Southwest Michigan Symphony Orchestra was at the time, up until this year, was conducted by an amazing conductor by the name of Robin Fountain, and he just retired. And they're actually auditioning 3 people, and one of them is a woman. And I'm doing her audition concert this year.
Cool.
Yeah, I hope she gets it. I want her to win. And,
when is that supposed? When is that supposed to happen?
It's supposed to happen in December.
Okay. Well, I hope it does.
I hope it does also. I'm like, hope it does. So when you work for a union symphony orchestra, and they let you rehearse the song one time.
Yes, that sounds right. That's why I don't remember it, because that is totally normal.
One time. You don't get. That's why I like working with community orchestras, because I'm like, could we do that again? I've worked with unions, and I'm like, and can we do it again? They're like, we could do it 10 more times, whatever you want. I'm like, okay. So one time, and you wrote this beautiful arrangement of Inner Smile. And it starts out with this big string section, la 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 la, and the strings are all, and I'm sitting there like this, because it's a song that came from my head, from my heart, and all of a sudden, Robin kind of doesn't hit me, but he kind of taps me. He's like, "You're in, you're in, you're in," and I'm like, "Who's what? And he goes, "You have to come in," and he stopped everything, and they were like,
we don't have time for this.
tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. So anyway, thank you again for this. Because the reason you called me 2 days ago, or messaged me. And we did a trade.
That's right.
That
was the arrangement back in the day, back 10 years ago, was that I would do the arrangements then, and under the stipulation that someday Jenna would return the favor and record on my album. And it's actually, to be honest, I've actually done 4 albums since then. But all the time in the back of my head, I remembered that Jenna owed me. So I called her up the other day, and we just started dialogue about that. I'm very excited, Jenna. You have no idea.
I'm ecstatic. I can't wait. I don't even know what I'm singing yet, but I'm ready to do it. When people ask to describe what music it is, I say it's hard to describe. And now everyone says that, like, how easy is it for someone to pigeonhole their own music? But part of the idea of what I'm doing is intentionally eclectic. It's very cross-genre, very interdisciplinary. And so it really is kind of a smorgasbord of everything. And so I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's extremely unmarketable is what it is, because it's not reggae, it's not jazz, but it has video game music, it has orchestra music, video game music,
everything in it. I really purposely try to be as inclusive as I possibly can. And so when I say what you're going to do, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I actually know exactly what it is, but if I had to describe it in words, for instance, one of the songs that I'm doing on this album is going to be a Beatles cover of the song Hello, Goodbye, which is a great, very poppy song, but part of it is that I'm going to do the cover as 4 different genres mixed together. Those 4 genres include Persian, traditional music, Irish, reel, zydeco, and klezmer. So I don't know if you'll be singing on that one, but that might be something that, I mean, how do I describe that to a singer? So I want you to sing Hello Goodbye, but you need to do it klezmer, zydeco, Irish, Persian. Okay, ready? So
I could do that.
I know, that's why I contacted you. If there's anyone that I know that would be able to accomplish this sort of thing, I think it's probably Jenna.
I could do that. I would love to try anyway.
Yeah,
So,
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
So you play all these different styles. How many instruments do you play?
Well, a lot. I do play a lot. I'm a composer first and foremost. So I, you know, as part of that, like getting to know how to play instruments is an important thing. Because if you're writing for an instrument, you can't, you know, if you want to write effectively, you need to know how to play. And now that I'm a band teacher, I've been picking up all instruments and everything just so that I'm able to play, like show students how to better, you know, further their musical making. But I would say like I could probably play I can play all the band instruments. And I can play like flute, saxophone, trumpet, trombone. And I have a lot of keyboard instruments and things like that too. I'm pretty good at piano now, things like that. I haven't taken lessons on almost anything though, so all this stuff self-learned. I have, let's see, let me kind of point around a little bit. I'm in my studio right now.
Okay.
And I only just got the studio or set it up in the last couple months, so I admit I'm very proud of everything that I have set up right now. But let me see if I can show you, for instance, where I've been standing behind where, I don't know if you and one of the things that I've been doing is playing with traditional Indonesian ensemble at UC Berkeley.
Ooh, gamelan.
Gamelan, Javanese in particular. Balinese is a lot harder, but I do Javanese music. Over here on this side of the room, I have my drum set. I have over here, I don't know I'm having trouble seeing what I'm pointing at. My harpsichord. Behind that, I have my piano and my Hammond organ. Over here, you can see I have my percussion instruments. Over here, also accordions and things like that. And then where I actually sit most of the time down here is I have my bass and my trumpets and saxophones and things like that. So
yeah. So you have a band, you have an orchestra.
I'm proud, I enjoy playing all of these, and I can do pretty well on all of them. But then after I watched your show last night, those fuckers on your show, Jeff, they are some good players.
Oh, I know.
Really great players.
Yeah. Yeah. So last night was really great.
It was really great.
It was really
great playing. So kudos to if anyone's watching from last night. Wow, awesome work. I'm not really quite sure. You asked me to play something tonight, but I'm a little bit hesitant on anything because I don't know. Everyone's gonna show me up.
No, gosh. I do have. Maybe we can skip over that for a minute because I'm curious about something.
Okay, sure.
So you're a music teacher.
Okay, yeah.
And you teach what grades?
Oh yeah, so I teach 6th through 12th grade music it's a private school in Dublin. It's secular private school. We have maybe 300 students or so. I would say that about a third of them are ESL from China.
Oh.
And probably about half of them are domestic, like from the United States, but of Indian origin, first. So and then the rest are a strange mix of a lot of other stuff that you find in the Bay. We have some white people, some black people, some Asian, other Asian, not Chinese. But it's a very diverse school. But the one thing about it, the one thing that when we talked earlier, like how do you teach music online? How do you do that? The one thing about my school is that it does pride itself in tech. It's a STEM focus.
Okay.
School talk about that.
You're skipping. I don't know what happened. Your connection got poor.
Okay, hold on a second. I can wait.
There's a storm. There's a storm here, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Is it maybe a little better now?
You're better. You're back.
But now I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about it's a STEM school.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So the good thing about it, though, is that also being in Dublin, it's a relatively affluent community. And so we were able, all of our students had laptops available. So when shelter in place happened, we only missed one day of school. We took one day off for students to come to school and grab their personal possessions, like one class at a time, like don't talk to your friends, stay by your car, sort of thing. And then the next day we taught online, like as though nothing had happened. We kept the same schedule. We just started up again, which I've come to learn was not the case with most education.
Yeah, I was going to say those poor kids didn't get a break, huh?
Yeah, I mean maybe they're
all right. You got that half a day off.
Yeah, I have some friends who teach public ed, and they said that basically school ended in March, like more or less, like that was the end for them. Yeah, ours was very different. But teaching music,
how did you do that? Did you do that?
It's our technology isn't there. We pride ourselves in how fast our internet is and all of that, but it still is not fast enough for music. I mean, you know this too. All musicians now know this because we can't play music online because it's lag and everything. So I had to cancel the performance app to it. When we met in class every day, I went over jazz history. I tried to do theory and stuff, try to get them engaged with music in other ways. But it became a lecture class basically, which is the one thing I really regret that. I hate lecturing. I love being a music teacher because I can just sit there and listen to them be themselves for 45 minutes. Like that's the beauty of music education. And like just watching kids express themselves. And so I don't know how experienced you, like Zoom meetings suck. I don't know if you have to deal with like many people in a meeting, but it's an awful experience.
Well, for kids and a 13-year-old, to have to do a Zoom meeting for every class.
9 hours a day.
I can't even imagine. I would just be like.
I feel bad. We felt bad for him. And we actually did try to come up fair. Our school recognized this was an issue. And we were allowed to cancel class early. Like we don't have to keep them for a full hour or whatever. We finish what we're doing, like let them done. And if we found ways to give them assignments offline, like not meeting during that time was okay. And so one thing that I ended up doing was I asked them to record themselves playing a piece, either one that I prescribed or whatever they want, and then upload it to me one time during the week instead of meeting for a class time. And then I will give you feedback. So it's kind of like a little bit of a one-on-one lesson, and it gave them an opportunity to like still play, which I felt was very important. Like when we first went into shelter in place, like I thought the sky was falling. Like the only thing I had in life was playing music, and so that was important to try to get the kids to like feel, have some release in that way too. So, and some of them got it. Like I would say maybe a quarter of my students still progressed on their instruments during shelter in place. Most of them fell off the train, but can't blame them.
Because they weren't sitting there on Zoom with their instruments.
No, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. The thing about Zoom is that the way it's designed, it only allows for 2 audio streams at the same time. So even if you have 20 people all talking simultaneously, only the 2 loudest get heard. And so for band, I actually have some recordings of the band trying to play together. At the very first couple days, I'm like, let's try it just so we know why we can't. And you could hear the drummer and the trumpet, and that was it, because everything else, there was only 2 audio.
So they get canceled out. So that's a good, because I'm doing a Zoom concert on Tuesday night with someone who's on here right now, my friend Matt Corbett and his wife Susan. It's her father's 80th birthday. And we were I was like, well, what if we do a sing-along? How about everybody sings a particular song? And yeah, it's not going to work. But I teach classes. I I teach some voice and I teach yoga on Zoom, which has been easy. You know, 1 or 2 people or 7 people, but not 7 teenagers.
It's impossible. And the dynamic is so different. The teacher, I rely on them to like feedback, like them. I want them to have side conversations every once in a while. I want their visual feedback and how their body language is. And on Zoom, there's none of that. They don't talk to each other at any moment. It's just them staring at for 45.
Right.
And I mean that's gonna be how you're gonna have to do your Zoom thing. Like you mute everybody else. Otherwise, they're like chewing crackers is going to be louder than you're singing. You know. And so, but then that's all only one stream, that's all it can do.
And did everyone in my niece's school, there were no fails?
That's right.
Everyone passed.
Unless kids stop showing up, we did expect kids to be there. But for what it's worth, I had better attendance online. Kids don't have an excuse. You could be sick and still show up. Right. So I actually, up until the very end, I had perfect attendance. Even my seniors showed up. Unheard of. Seniors showing up till the end of class.
Well, you seem like just having this conversation with you, I would want to learn from you.
I would say, thank you. I would say I'm a pretty good teacher at this point. When I first started teaching at this school, I had never once taken an education class. So I've learned some things along the way. But at this point, I would be honored to be your teacher. It would be fun.
Oh, well, I would love to learn. This is one thing we did learn about Zoom the other night was to turn on original audio.
Yes.
That makes a big difference, you guys. Turning on the original audio. Wow. Whole other thing, right? Hi, Victoria. I just have to say hi to, hi, Victoria. That's so cool. We had fun together years ago. So, what are you doing for the summer then? Now that your kids have graduated, it's done.
Yeah, it's gone, and being a school teacher, it's not the best part, but the best perk of being a teacher is summer's off. I'm not going to pretend to lie about it. It's great. But it's been the opportunity has been to focus on my album. And so now it's fun to dive into a project like this. I wake up and I start working on it. And then I work on it until dinner time. And then my wife makes me stop and eat dinner, but then I'm still thinking about it. And then I go to bed. It becomes all consuming. And music has always been all consuming, but now it's like a single project and like the focus gets narrower and narrower. I don't know if I know you yourself about, but I guess I'm talking to everybody. If you've ever made an album,
quite a few people on here have.
Yeah.
Are you recording it at your home?
Yeah, all right here. Yeah, I'm going to try to do it all right here. I put up the sound reinforcement on the ceiling. I'm proud of all my stuff, and I've done it all before at home. So at this point, it's pretty standard.
Cool. And your wife's name is?
Her name is Lale. Lale.
Lale. And did she grow up in Santa Cruz? Did I see?
Yeah, her family lives in Santa Cruz. She has never lived there. She lived in San Francisco for 19 years, and she likes to remind me that she didn't make it to 2 decades because she moved into our house instead of living there for 20 years. So she's a San Francisco through and through. She works at one of the landmark buildings in San Francisco and loves it there. And really,
she works at the Ferry Building.
Ferry Building in San Francisco. If you haven't been, very cool place. If you're a foodie, it's probably the best place. I'm going to say Seattle people will be angry at me if I say it's the best place on the West Coast for food, but
it's the best place. I mean, imagine a farmer's market that has like the most beautiful produce and artisan everything, breads, cheeses, whatever, prepared foods. And then you can walk in and have oysters, and then you can go to Slanted Door for a drink and for dinner, and then walk around and have the best of the best of the best food.
There's
in the coolest space.
And they have a cheese shop and there's things that couldn't survive.
Cowgirl Creamery.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Cowgirl. Yeah. Oh man. Mount Tam cheese. I will. Whew, that's
Oh,
delicious.
she just said it is very fun. Nice one. Now, Lale, are you musical? Does she share your passions musically?
She is a very avid supporter of my passions, but she is not herself. She's actually a screenwriter.
She just said no.
I'm sorry, a playwriter. She writes plays. So she's that's her art, I guess.
Does she write plays that have been performed in the Bay Area?
Yeah. I think it's been a few years since one has been performed, but yeah, it has. In fact, I don't know whether she wants me talking about it or not, but one hasn't been produced since I've known her, which has been about 5 years.
Lale, I'd love to have you on the show sometime, and I'm curious if you know of Central Works, which is a Berkeley theater company where they write plays. That's their thing. We write plays, Central Works. And if you're not connected with them, I would love to introduce her to some really great East Bay people that it's what they do is you don't know them. Okay. Well, this is what this show is about, community and connection. So yes, done. But on one condition, that you come on the show and we talk about how much fairy fun you have. And I think that's so cool that you work at the Ferry Building. If my sister's still watching, we meet at the Ferry Building. We're like, like she's up north and I'm somewhere. We're like, well, let's meet at the Ferry Building. We used to meet at Beetle Nut. Now we meet at the Ferry Building, or we meet at Zuni.
Oh yeah, Zuni, delicious.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay, took time off for writing tour. Okay, well, but I want you to meet my friends who create plays, and they have writing workshops and stuff to help to create plays with other people. So you're making an album. You're teaching. Do you teach privately?
I used to, but I don't anymore. Fortunately, this is full-time work, and it makes enough. And in the end, I just got tired of teaching kids that didn't care. I'm not interested in students that don't care anymore. And so I stopped doing it for a while, and I haven't picked it back up yet. Yeah, I don't have an excuse. I really should.
And as far as your record goes, are you playing everything on the record?
Not at all. No, I'm the composer, and it's a very collaborative thing. On previous records, this record is the fourth in a series. It's complicated. I don't necessarily need to get into it, but the first one had over 100 musicians on it. The second one probably had 70 or 80. I'm hoping to get about the same amount on this one, 70 or 80 musicians.
And all recorded at your home?
Yeah, well, now that we're in shelter in place, a lot of it, I'm finding musicians who have recordings set up to their own place, or things that find ways to do it at home, plural. Yeah. So
that's what we're going to do, which is I still have this mic, but I'm giving it up this weekend. But this is the one Zoom mic that I had told you about.
Yep.
I don't know.
I think I've heard it used before, and I think it sounds great. So I think we'll find a way to get one to you, and you can use it.
I'll use it. But you have to teach me the software that I'm going to need. Matt, I'm going to get more technical. I'm going to learn how to do recording here at my house, because I'll have a MacBook Pro back in my hands in about maybe, I don't know, it might be 2 weeks, but.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay. So, if you were going to play something for us, what instrument would you perform on?
Well, I guess I would probably feel most comfortable on trombone, only because I was it on when I was in school. It probably is my most comfortable. So yeah, I think maybe I said you don't mind. I'll do trombone.
I love trombone. Trombone and cello are my two favorite instruments on the planet. I didn't, well, of course you played trombone, but no, I didn't. And you're tall, so yeah, it makes sense that you played. Did you play trombone in high school, like in a?
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Well, no wonder you're such a fine musician. Every trombonist that I know are some of the best musicians I've ever met in my life.
I have a theory about that. I think it's because trombones are forced to play harmony all the time. I'm never playing the melody. We just have time to sit there and think about what we're doing and like what other stuff is. So, like we're the philosophers of the band.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. I have friends and people that horns in general, but trombone, because you have to find it. There's no.
That's right. It's not. You can't just push a button and get a note. It takes a little more work. Yeah. It's kind of annoying that way, but. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. I mean, yeah. Wow. Oh, please play trombone for us.
Do you have a song you want to hear? Do you have a request? Or do you want to ask someone for a request?
Do you guys have a request for Dr. Liddell to perform his trombone?
Disney or pop or something?
I don't know any pop songs. I mean, new pop songs. I kind of left that in after the 80s. After Steely Dan, But I'm waiting. Matt, do you have a request? Sam, hi Sam. Let's see who else.
I have stuff. I can just open up the real book and play something.
Okay. But let's give it one more.
Give people a second.
Just a second. So this is what room was this? When you looked at this, when you bought this home, what room did you walk in and go, this is going to be my studio?
This is the garage.
Okay.
And for a very long time, it was full of garagey things. But then when shelter in place happened, I was teaching from home. I needed a little bit more of a dedicated place to do it. And Lale was working from home too, so she also needed the space upstairs, and I'm loud, so it worked out. But this is kind of a new setup. That's why I'm extra excited to show it off to you guys.
Cool. Do you know the song "Sentimental Over You"?
I think so. I think I do.
And then there's another, lots of brass in No Doubt. And
I don't know how many No Doubt.
Julia asks for Kanye's song, Jesus Walks. But Sentimental Over You or Tommy Dorsey. Bill Whitaker is a wonderful drummer, musician from Boston who's on right now. Thank you, Bill, for being here. And my friends are in Canada, and we're coast to coast. We're coast to coast, and I'm on the third coast, so. At last. Oh, Lale, did you watch last night's show with my friend Rain? She performed.
Yeah, it was honest. I don't want to repeat.
She was so great. I was supposed to call her today. Oh, sorry, Rain, I didn't call you. It's still today, though. This is so awesome. I'm so happy thank you for wanting me to do this trade with you 10 years later, and all this happened so quickly and so fun.
It is happening very quickly. I'm glad. Sentimental Over You, is it in the real book? Do you know?
I don't know. Is it in the real book, Sentimental Over You? We are only semi-serious. Don't know much music, so go with your real musician guests.
Okay. Well, I just came across Stella by Starlight. So
that's Stella. Do you play any James Taylor songs on trombone?
I would have to look them up, like Fire and Rain.
Yeah.
I could play that.
I'm just going to sit back and listen.
Okay.
Oh, and Bill says it's not in the real book. The other song.
I found that out, yeah. I have all the real books, but I don't want to sit here and sort through them.
This studio looks so cool.
No, thank you. All right, let's see here. Maybe I should stand up. Can you guys see me?
And next time I'm performing in the Bay Area, please bring your trombone to the gig.
Oh, yeah. That would be so much fun. I would love that.
Okay, we can see your chin.
Okay, here, I'll scoot back a little bit more. Is that better? Okay. I haven't tried playing this on trombone before. I'm sight reading this, and it's in treble clef, but I got this for you. Okay?
Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much.
Sure. That was not that. I was totally gonna fall on my face in the middle of that.
Look at that. Woo. Do you know that there are 3 verses on that song, and he wrote them over, he didn't write them all at the same time. He wrote them over years, like one verse, and then 2 years later, another verse, and then, wow. I never even thought, I mean, James Taylor on trombone.
I believe that.
Wow.
Very pretty song, though. Very pretty.
Do you enjoy writing? Do you write lyrics?
I do, and I will be giving you some songs of mine that I wrote. I admit that my lyric writing is my most insecure part of my writing.
It's hard. It's really hard to write. And to know if it's okay, you know, like you write it and you go, is that? Yeah.
Back today, you wake up and you instantly recognize it's crap. It's really hard.
Yeah. It's really hard. So what'd you have for lunch today?
What did I have for lunch? I had a vegan chicken sandwich. I actually went over to a friend's house and stayed socially safe in his backyard. And he cooked me a vegan chicken sandwich, and I ate it, and it was delicious.
A vegan chicken sandwich, did you say?
That's right, yeah. It was vaguely chicken-esque, but it was so good.
I bet. And you have a garden at your home.
I do. In fact, because of shelter in place, like I'm not the only one, I'm sure, who has had a lot of time to devote to the garden, and so it's become a huge matter of pride for me. Also, my tomato plants and my sunflowers and my grape plants, and I live in California, so I can say it. My weed plants are looking amazing.
Nice. What strain? What are you growing?
Other than that, I have potatoes and raspberries and I don't know what else. Just other stuff. Now I also have 5 chickens. That's something that I've been super into lately. Is the home farming sort of thing. If you don't own chickens, everyone should own chickens.
Everyone should have. I've owned chickens in my life. Yeah, I've been around that in Oakland. Yeah, in West Oakland actually. Back in the day, yo.
I've done it, but I don't understand why everybody doesn't. It's really 0 effort and free eggs.
Yeah. Are they pretty colors, the eggs?
Yeah, I have some interesting. Oh, the eggs? No, they're pretty. They're brown and white. Just kind of.
And what are you feeding your chickens?
Well, that's the other brilliant thing is that they eat all of our crap, like everything that we don't eat except for like chicken pieces. We basically feed to them, and they eat everything. All our old food that goes bad in the fridge, it's not bad. It feeds the chickens. So it's great. They're like trash compactors.
Hey, did you start with 5 and still have 5?
No. It's an arduous process. Chickens, they come and go quickly. Being up in the hills, we get some birds of prey and we've lost some chickens to birds of prey for sure. But no diseases or anything. Like, we've been very healthy other than that. But that's the only thing. Yeah. And I imagine probably raccoons and stuff would be a problem, but I've been very careful.
Now you're in the hills. You're near the zoo, right? Do you go to the zoo?
I've been there a couple times. Yeah, our Oakland Zoo is pretty good. Cool. Zoos can be a very sad.
Yeah, I'm not a big zoo person, but it's a cool zoo.
It's a good one. It's very open. They don't have a lot of cages. It tends to be very open. Paddock, so pretty good. Plus, the one thing I do appreciate at the Oakland Zoo that I haven't seen anywhere else is their elephant paddock has musical instruments for them to play. So every time I go there elephants, hoping that they're playing instruments. But it's only happened once.
And what if people wanted to, before this new record comes out, how do people find your music?
Well, all my other records are on all the places. They're on iTunes and Spotify, and SoundCloud is probably the easiest place. And I can put some links on.
Post some links, please.
And yeah, it's also vinyl. I am a huge proponent of the real music idea. I'm not so much into cassette tapes, but vinyl itself I think is a beautiful medium, not to be replicated. And not to mention that concept of album art, like looking at the album and it's like this big, and you're like listening to the music and you're like internalizing the pictures that are there at the same time. There's no replacing that. And so if you guys agree with me, then you should definitely buy my next album coming out with Jenna on it, because that will be, the album art itself is also a huge part of the experience.
And so this will be on vinyl.
It will be. We'll be putting it on vinyl. Double record. Double LP.
Wow, Patrick. Congratulations. Have you done CDs?
I did. My first 3 records were on CD, but around 2010, I realized that CDs are dead.
Yeah. It's really a drag.
It really is, especially.
You still have to make them. You still have to press, and the deal is people go, well, why press 1,000? Why don't you just press 500? Because for $195 more, I get 1,000, and then then there's that, the 300 that still has to go to promoters and to radio people. Even though now with shelter in place, a lot more streaming. But my friend Mark Ruffin, for instance, who was on last Sunday, and will be on again, is the jazz programmer for the Sirius XM, the Jazz XM radio station. He requires that you send him a CD. He likes, and he still does get stuff on, he can get it streamed, but he asks, if you want your stuff to be heard and played on at Sirius XM, I need to have.
I think that makes total, it shows a certain amount of commitment on a band. You're not just like putting something up and then uploading it to CD Baby and calling it a day. Like, you went through the trouble of making a physical object,
Do you make videos?
I do. And although admittedly it's been a few years, I've been busy with other things, but back in the day I was very big about video making. And in fact, like when I lived in Chicago, I did a lot of video improv. Like, I would go to a show and I would set up my projector behind the band and I would just make up video to play as they were playing whatever they were doing.
So like a DJ.
A VJ. Yeah.
That's the thing, yes?
It totally is, yeah. In Chicago, I was making money at it. I could say that, I can't say that I actually could have made a living at it, but I was definitely on the video scene. But in the Bay Area, the problem with the Bay Area, I don't know what it is, but they set up their venues wrong. None of the venues here support having a video camera a projector on stage. They're all too small or trying, whatever the problem is,
So the Green Mill reopened tonight.
Oh. I didn't even know they were closed.
Yeah, they closed, and then.
Oh, you mean because of shelter in place?
Because of this experience in our life, they reopened. They opened a couple weeks ago, and but they didn't open. They did an outdoor venue, celebration on the street.
Their place in the street.
Yeah, they played in the streets, and then the cops came and said, "Sorry, you can't do this." Dave Gemolo is a good buddy of mine, and I've been following his all ideas, but he opened tonight, and you can only be 25% capacity. and no singing, and
Oh,
and no horns.
interesting. I mean, that does make a certain amount of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to agree, but I mean, singing.
A super spreader. Super spreader.
It is.
Loud talkers and singers are super spreaders. So I need to learn an instrument. You need to teach me how to play an instrument, please.
Well, apparently instruments are not that much better. I mean, if you think about it, we are still expelling air as hard as we possibly can through the end of our bell. Like it is just as bad.
Right, and flautists too. I was talking to a friend in a wind in a
there's
symphony.
a story that's been going around of there was a choir or sometime
in Seattle.
That got together.
It really. I know some people that were in the.
After one rehearsal or something.
Yeah, like 40 people got sick, and they were distancing and all doing their supplements and doing everything, and a huge number of people. But another friend of mine is in a symphony, and a wind symphony, and they're not allowing any flautists because when you blow, yeah. But I wondered that about a trombone because you're still.
There's only one exit. I mean, it's all coming out there.
Right.
Same with trumpet, any brass instrument, it's all still coming out the same place.
So I think if you play violin, drums, or any stringed instrument, play harp, maybe, you're probably okay.
I predict a huge comeback in string orchestras and rules.
I think so. And probably with have you heard, are they going to open the schools? Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't think so either.
Our school has a few contingency plans depending on what the situation is come that time, but I don't know. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm super excited that you said yes to come on. And Matt was wondering, could you play a song on the gamelan?
Oh, I certainly could. I would love it.
I was going to ask earlier, but I thought I got it with trombone, so thanks, Matt.
I can't play James Taylor on it, though.
Okay. Do you play some Felonious Monk?
Well, it does have kind of a whole tone sound, so I could fake it.
No.
All right, so the gamelan is usually not played solo. It's an ensemble meant to be played as an ensemble. But this instrument that I can play for you now has soloistic qualities in the ensemble. So this one will work.
This is so fun. Are you guys having I hope everyone's having as much fun as I am. I'm having a blast, man. I'm in my kitchen just going, this is the bomb shit.
All right, hopefully. Let me turn on the other light one.
What is all this red, these beautiful red cabinets and...
Yes, these are all part of the gamelan.
Okay.
Are different instruments in the gamelan. Some of them are the cabinets that hold these, and some of them have metal bars on them like this.
Is it all one instrument?
The Indonesians consider it a single instrument. Yeah, the whole ensemble is considered one instrument, and each one is tuned to itself. You can't take an instrument and move it from one group to another because it won't be tuned the same. So they all only match themselves.
Did you know that? Did anyone else know that? Am I the only one that didn't know that?
I mean, when you hear it, you can tell it's not a Western scale. I mean, it's pretty evident pretty quick. I gotta take my rings off, too.
You have cool rings.
Oh, thank you. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Are you still there?
Yes, of course. So explain that instrument. If you can I see more of it? I mean, that's all one instrument, but multiple people play them. Play it.
Well, no, this particular instrument is just one person sits at it, but it's an ensemble of maybe 20 people, and they all play different parts of this. And they are different instruments. They have different names, but you would never play them by themselves.
But you have all of them there.
That's right. I do have them all here. They're all just really packed into this corner. Let's see if I can show you some others. Here are the gongs. So gongs are a big part of Indonesian music. So here's all the gongs for them, including the really big one in the corner there. And then maybe from this angle you can see a bit better. This one is it's like a metal xylophone similar to mine, but the bars are a little bit different. I don't have the bars on right now. And then there's this one that has like a wooden hammer that's played along. And then I have one like this that I'm resting the flugelhorn on. That's much deeper. It's like a bass instrument. And these bars, each one of these bars is made out of bronze. It probably weighs 10 pounds each.
Wow.
And they're pretty. And then they also, you're not going to be able to hear it on the computer, but they ring for minutes at a time. This tube, this note right here, I've timed it. It can resonate for over 2 minutes. It's so cool.
Wow. How did you get him interested?
It was in Chicago.
Okay.
I was at school at Northwestern, and I was in the hallway going to another class, and I heard someone playing a recording of this music, and it was so captivating. First of all, what I'm playing is not even a vague representation of how cool the music is, because it's 20 people all playing constantly at the same time. It's very polyphonic, like lots of different melodies, many melodies. And I skipped class. I sat outside of that class and just listened to the rest of the class, wondering what this music was. And when afterwards going in and talked to the teacher, found out what it was, looked up an ensemble and immediately started attending classes. It was just started going to the class or the group in Chicago, because it's a fascinating music, very fascinating.
And are people reading music on? I mean.
No, it's all memorized. And I say that it's not entirely true. We do get little cheat sheets that we can read off of. But for instance, the first instrument I played for you, it's entirely interpreted. It's actually very jazz-like.
I want to learn to play gamelan.
You should come. If you only still lived in Berkeley. It's at UC Berkeley where I go.
Wow. Who's the teacher?
His name is Midianto. He's from Java, and I consider him my guru. He is an amazing human being and teacher, and master musician, and he's one of those kind of teachers that teaches about life while teaching the instrument.
I've seen him perform. Yeah.
Then you already know.
But I don't know him. I don't know that part of it. But it's just right, Melanie? Very cool, right? When we do our show, so we're gonna do 11/11, a live show.
Okay.
Like hopefully at the Freight, maybe a couple other places in the Bay Area. I want you to come be a guest, and I would love for you to play gamelan.
I would put together a group, and we could play we could have a group gamelan. That would be fun.
That would be cool.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, Dr. Patrick Liddell, this has just been like beyond a joy, and
It's been a lot of fun.
So proud, and I'm so honored that I do remember how I was thinking about it as we were talking tonight. I was given your name by someone in New York because I knew someone that was possibly going to do the song, the arrangements for me. And then he called me and said, I don't have time, but I'm going to give you a list. And you were someone that was in Chicago. And I went, well, that's not too far. And, at the time I didn't know if I was going to, if you were going to have to come or, what we were doing. and we met and just had, you were just so kind to me, and I didn't know first, I'd never performed with a symphony before. That was my first, and I've only done it a handful of times since, and I hope I get to do it again. But now that I'm a super spreader, who knows? Maybe I'll wear my gown and play gamelan.
That's right. There is singing in gamelan too, but it's optional. We can leave it out.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And when the record is done, when the vinyl record is in hand, or even before that, please come back and play some more of your instruments. I'm probably going to ask you back sooner than you were expecting. So.
Sure. I'll do something different next time.
Okay. And
thank you.
And Lale.
Mm-hmm.
Lale. Nice to chat with you here, and I look forward to meeting you and having you on the show as well. So I'm not going to keep any more anybody. I know it's kind of late, but this is what happens on the show. When you asked me how long does it go, I'm like, well, sometimes it's like 10, 15 minutes, and sometimes it's 2 hours, and I think we're somewhere in between there. So yeah, nice to meet you also. I am going to call you back just for a couple of minutes and do this. And Melanie, who's my guest tomorrow night, even said, please come back. So please,
I would love to.
Please come back. Dr. Patrick Liddell, everyone.
See you later.
Yay. Oh, I don't have my clapping machine on, or I would clap for you. Here, I'll clap for you really quickly. Round of applause. All right, man. Thank you so much. Bye. How cool was that? I mean, was that the bomb shit or what? Good night, Matt. Good night, Melanie. Good night, Lale. Good night, Bill. Who else is here still? Good night, Julie. I think Julie's still here. Very cool. Joni, Lori, whoever's still here. I hope whoever's still here is still here, because that was really great. That was like, you know. So you guys, it's this weekend. It's just, I started the show today, this morning's show, with a dear friend, heart friend that passed away this morning, and I'm just going to think about him one more time and ask for you guys to pray, send thoughts, light, whatever it is that you do, for my friend Joe Scrima and for his family, his big, beautiful family. And just think of the Scrima family for a moment, if you can. And he was a life changer for all of us. And that's how my day started, and this is the way it's ending, and this is just really powerful and beautiful. And thank you, Dr. Patrick. See you soon. I will start learning music the second you send it to me, and the rest of you, I'll see you when I see you. But tomorrow night, Melanie DeMore will be here with us. So come on back. And Melanie, I created an event for tomorrow night. So if you saw it on Facebook, you can go and invite your friends. All right? All right. Light thoughts. Bright words. Stunning heart. And one more thing. Thank you. Thank you. Yoga Mendocino had the closing ceremony tonight. And if any of you are here from Ukiah, that was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony, and I was honored to be a part of that. Yomo was a big part of my life. Thank you, Maggie Norton. And you guys know what to do, but I'll say it anyway. Love heart.